Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Melissa, and if you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I know today's not Monday. I was not able to download a video yesterday, so I'm doing it today. So today we're going to be talking about a new missing child case. Today we're going to be talking about the case of Bobby Dunbar. Hopefully I said that right. So let's go ahead and get started. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you can be notified every time I upload a video. So Bobby was an American boy whose disappearance at the age of 4 and apparent return was widely reported in the newspaper across the United States in 1912 and 1913. After 8 months of nationwide searching, investigators believe they have found the child in Mississippi in the hands of William Kenwell Walters of Burnsville, North Carolina. Dunbar's parents claimed the boy as their missing son. However, both Walters and a woman named Julie Anderson insist the boy was Andrew's son's Bruce. Julie Anderson could not afford a lawyer, and the court eventually ruled in favor of the Dunbars. Percy and Lisa Dunbar retained custody of the child, who proceeds to live out the remainder of his life as Bobby Dunbar. In 2004, DNA profiling established irrespective that the boy found with Walters and returned to the Dunbars as Bobby had not been a blood relative of the Dunbar family. This makes most believe that the boy was in fact Bruce Henderson and had been wrongly defined by Dunbar's parents. Julie Anderson, who had no means to contest Dunbar's decisions, but also maintained the child was her son. However, this does not solve what happened to the true Bobby Dunbar, who is presumed dead and is 16. Absent. Death as an absent. So, Robert Glenn's Bobby Dunbar was the first son born to Lisa and Percy Dunbar of Apologies, Louisiana. He was born on May 23rd of 1908. In August 1912, the Dunbars took a fishing trip to nearly Sorceland Lake in Landberge, Louisiana. On August 23rd, while on the trip, Bobby disappeared. After 8 months search, authorities located William Kenwell Walters, who worked as an interned handyman, specializing in turning and repairing of pianos and organs. Walters has been traveling through Mississippi with a boy who appeared to match the description of Bobby. Walters claimed that the boy was actually Charles Bruce Anderson, generally referred to as Bruce, the son of the woman who worked for his family. He said that the boy's mother was named Julia Anderson and that she had willingly granted him custody. Julia Anderson would later confirm this. Nevertheless, Walters was arrested and authorities sent for Dunbars to come to Mississippi and attempt to find the boy. Newspaper accounts differ from Berger to the intentional reaction between the boys and Lisa Dunbar. One account indicate that the boy immediately shouted out "mother" upon seeing her, and two then embraced. Another said only that the boy cried and quoted Lisa Dunbar as saying she was unsure whether he was her son. Mind you, I'm sorry, but how you not know what your son looked like? I mean, you let me finish. They were similar. Constructions of newspaper accounts of the boy's first sighting of Dunbar's young son Alonso, with one newspaper claiming that the boy recognized Alonso, instantly called him by my name and kissed him, with others saying the boy shot out no sign of recognition of Alonso. The next day, after being the boy, Lizzie Dunbar said she possibly identified his molds and scars and was then certain that he was her son. The boy returned to Apologies with the Dunbars to a parade with much fanfare celebrating the homecoming. Shortly thereafter, Julia Anderson of North Carolina arrived to support Walter's contention the boy was. In fact, her son Bruce Anderson was unmarried and worked at a field in a Walters family. She said that she had allowed Walter to take her son only for what was supposed to be a 2-day trip to visit one of the Walters relatives. She further stated that she had not consent for Walter to take her son more than a few days. According to newspaper accounts, Anderson was presented with 5 different boys who were the same approximately age as her son, including the boy who had been claimed by Dunbars. When the boy in question was presented, he reportedly gave no addiction that he recognized her. She asked whatever he was, the boy recovered, but was not given an answer and finally declared that she was unsure. Upon seeing the boy again the next day, when she was allowed to undress him, she indicated a strong sincerely that the boy was indeed her son Bruce. However, would have already spread about her failure to possibly define him on the first attempt. This combined with the fact that newspapers questioned her moral character and having had 3 children, the other 2 deceased by that point, out of wedlock, led to Anderson's claim being dismissed. With no money to sustain a long court battle, Anderson returned to North Carolina. She later returned to Louisiana for Walter's kidnap trial to assess to his innocence and push for the court to determine that the boy was her son. In the trial, she became acquainted with the resident of town of Port Olivia, Mississippi, many of whom also come to proclaim Walter's innocent. William Walters and the boy had spent quite a bit of time in Polville during their travels, and community there had come to know them well, with a number of them asserting that they had seen Walters with the boy prior to the disappearance of Bobby Dunbar. Despite this testimony, the court reached the determination that the boy was in fact Bobby Dunbar. Walter was conceived of kidnapping while the boy remained in custody of the Dunbar family and lived out the remainder of his life as Bobby Dunbar. After the trial, the people of Port Louis welcomed Anderson. She began a new life there, eventually marrying and having 7 children. According to her descents, she became a devoted Christian, helped found a church, and served nurses and midwives to the small community. Although her children indicate that her life was a happy one after settling in Polville, they say that she nonetheless spoke often of her lost son, and that the family always regretted him having been kidnapped by the Dunbars. She died on February 1st of 1940 and is buried in Fort Creek Cemetery in Polville. In 2008, one of Anderson's sons, Hollis, reconnected the story for the American Life that in 1944 Bobby Dunbar, Bruce Anderson, visited him at his place of business, where they talked. Hollis' sister Jules has recounted a similar experience wherein a man who she believes to have been Dunbar came to the service station where she worked and talked to her for an extended period. The Dunbar's family also had a similar story as told by Bobby Dunbar, sons Gerald. The family was returning home from a trip passed through Polville with Bobby Dunbar. Those are people that came to pick me up from the Anderson family. Then they had a brief visit with Dunbar. After Walter had served 2 years of his prison term for kidnapping, his attorney was successful in appeal. The conviction was overturned by the Louisiana Supreme Court. Walters was then granted the right to a new trial. Citing the excessive cost of the first trial, prosecutors and apology declined to try him again, instead released him. After his release from custody, Walters resumed a tenderly lifestyle. Walter died on April 7th of 1945 and was buried in Pablo, Colorado, beside his wife. The grandchildren of Walter's brother report that during their childhood, he typically visited their grandfather a few times per year, and that during this visit, Walters always maintained his innocence regarding the kidnapping charges. The boy raised Bobby Dunbar, married, 4 children of his own, and died on March 8, 1966. He was buried in Boulevard Memorial Park in Uplands, Louisiana. His widow died in 1994 and was extradited next to her husband. Years of Bobby Dunbar's death, one of his granddaughters, Marjorie Dunbar, co-write, began her own investigation of the events poured through her newspaper accounts. Interviewed the children of Julie Anderson, examining the notes and evidence presented by Walter's defense attorney for his kidnapping and trial appeal. Although Cartwright had intentionally hoped to prove that her grandfather was Dunbar, her search unlimited led her to doubt her beliefs. In 2004, after an Associated Press report approached the family about the story, Bobby Dunbar Jr. consents to undergo DNA tests to resolve the issue. The results show that Dunbar Jr. was not related by blood to his supposed cousins. The son of Alonzo Dunbar was the younger brother of Bobby Dunbar and the original Bobby Dummer, who went missing in 1912. Since DNA testing was conclusive, the fate of the real Bobby Dummer remains unknown. In March of 2008, public radio intentional's These Americans Live featured The Ghost of Bobby Dummer, a radio documentary about the investigation of the case by Marjorie Dummer Cutright. She expressed her own opinion that the real Bobby Dummer most likely fell into the Seward Lake during the fishing trip and was very eaten by an alligator. She revealed that the result of her investigation had brought joy to Julia Anderson's family as a vindication of her claims, as well as to William Walters' family as an extraneation of the kidnapping accusation against him. She also said that her findings had some discomfort with her own family, as the majority of her grandfather's children and grandchildren consider themselves to be members of the Dummer's family, cherished their existing familiar relationships, and were resentful of copyright, both having to develop into the matter and for having helped a renewed topic in terms of public attention. So that is the case of Bobby, and it's so crazy. Like, I feel like, don't get me wrong, but how you not recognize your child? Like, as soon as I see my daughter, like, you could put my daughter in a different room with girls that kind of look like her, and I would recognize my daughter quick. Like, I would recognize, because she looks like me, so there's just no way. But, like, I would recognize her real quick. And I think it sucks because, like, I mean, obviously back then there was no DNA, but now to know that the real Bobby is still out there somewhere, and like she said, he did probably fall. You know, they were fishing, he probably tripped and nobody saw him trip, and an alligator ate him. I mean, I don't know if alligators eat humans, but let me know in the comments below. But yeah, it's just so sad that you lost your child, and it sucks because if she would have had some type of help with the lawyer, I think she would have had, and she could have fought. I think she really, I feel like she suffered from that, heartbroken. Yeah, she had 7 other children, but to know that you don't have your other child because another family basically took him in thinking that was their child, it's like, how do you go by in life? Not just you wondering, thinking, what could I have done? Should I have done more? And it's just really, really sad. But guys, I will see y'all again soon. I'm not gonna tell y'all when I will see y'all because, like I said, I was supposed to do it yesterday, and a lot of things going on. So I will try to upload when no one's home. And I am by myself. So thank you guys. I will see y'all soon.